You disappeared on your back. There you go.
Oh, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right.
I'm
Dealing
so,
with all this stuff. Yeah,
I
but it's all good.
I
So what do
know
you?
we're going into lockdown tomorrow, so
Yeah.
I'm so not good really.
So what are you? How are you preparing for that?
Um, God, to be quite honest, it's all up in the air. They keep changing the goalposts.
Hmm.
You don't know if you can meet your parents. You don't know if you're not allowed in their house.
Yeah.
Oh, they keep changing the rules. You've got what's happening in England, then you got what's happening in Wales, and then you're like,
Yeah.
so I've just said to my family, I'm not going to see you for 2 weeks. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of tough, but it's you're trying to do the right thing. That's all you're trying to do, isn't it? It's the
yeah,
right. It seems like the right thing. You know.
yeah, it's well, I put my trust in what they're doing. So how's you and the rest of the band? Are you okay? Have you had to meet up or anything?
Um, we've not met up. Well, I've seen Benji a few times because I live in Bristol.
Yeah,
So and Benji's obviously in Newport.
yeah.
Um, and so I've been to see him maybe 3 times now. Like in this year, I've seen him 3 times, just working on music and chatting and all that. Not seeing the other guys, but that's geographical. That's like
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it's everyone's kind of just dealing with it as best we can, kind of thing for now.
Yeah, it's that's the thing. You're just wondering what's going to happen over the next 2 weeks.
Mm.
It's like today now, a lot of people were up in arms because of Ozzy Osbourne. He forgot to postpone his tour, so
Right.
it's supposed to be starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
So they finally go around to Live Nation to postponing it to 2022. So
Where
everyone's up in arms about that.
where was it going to be starting? In
Uh,
America.
no, this is the UK. This was
Oh.
the UK tour, and
And
they
it
knew,
was and the first show was going to be in the UK.
yeah, tomorrow, and they forgot to postpone it.
That's mad because you think that during this time, like everything that happened, the lockdown, the initial lockdown, everyone dealing with COVID, and then the whole BLM movement stuff. And I know, like, I bought a Black Sabbath, Black Lives Matter t-shirt. They're on it, like, they're on current affairs. It's mad that it didn't get postponed. Like, it's a funny thing, isn't it? I don't know.
It well, a lot of people because they're doing the tour with Judas Priest, so
Yeah.
a lot of people were getting in contact with Judas Priest saying, "Look, is this tour going ahead? It's starting in Newcastle on
Hmm.
Friday. What's going on?" They said we don't know. So,
Yeah,
but
I think it was a tough one for Judas Priest because they potentially could have known, but they just can't say anything because it's not their call to make, kind of thing. So it's a
yeah,
tough one. It's a
I
tough.
I think to do with Ozzy and everything which he's going through. I just think it's not so much to do with him. His management have just totally um, put his health to one side, and then forgot about that we've got a tour starting.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, anyway, let's start at the beginning. What music influenced you starting, and what influenced you in becoming a band?
Um, well, personally, I my sister was always a musical one, and I didn't really have that much of an interest because my sister played flute to quite a high level, and they were always trying to get me to play flute, and I was not interested in that. And then I started to get into stuff like Jimi Hendrix and Prince and that kind of thing. I like pop music, and then I heard that, and it kind of got me more interested in rock music. And they were trying to get me to play double bass because I was tall,
Yeah.
That's when you're a kid, makes sense. You're tall, you're playing bass. But my friend bought in a bass and his older brother's bass guitar, and I was just like, oh, I want to do that, playing it through distortion and stuff, and it was great. So early on, I mean, my all-time favorite band, I always say this is the Beastie Boys, because for me,
Yeah.
the Beastie Boys are the internet. It was a time before everybody had internet, but that
Yeah.
band for me, they all the in terms of how they encompass music and like the punk and the jazz and the funk and the hip hop and Lee Perry samples, like reggae samples, like everything I like really is because of that band,
Yeah.
but in terms of like heavier stuff that I was into, bands like Helmet and Rage Against the Machine and Quicksand and Rollins Band, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when I started playing, like I met Benji when I think I actually met Benji when I was 15 at a Dove War show, you know?
Yeah.
And then when I was 18, I first had a jam with him. And it was kind of like, for the initial, it was kind of like, oh, have you got any, he says to me, have you got any riffs? We were jamming with a drummer and a guitarist. And I was like, I've got some ideas. And I sort of played them. And he was like, can you play it like this? And can you play it immediately on me? And I'd never had anyone, I'd always like written my own music and improvised and stuff, but never like in that way. And it was really good, actually. That was kind of the beginning of it. He called me the next day and said, hey, do you want to do a band with me? And I was like, great. Like I was 18 and, you know, it was really good. In terms of the beginning of Skindred, I think it was definitely bands like Helmet and Snot, Rage Against the Machine, System
Yeah.
of a Down, but then also bands like the Specials and the Clash, bands that kind of incorporated the reggae music of their day with what they were doing. Culture clash stuff that's kind of like, a mashup of cultures kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like I was always into, my favorite band is Kiss,
Yeah.
but I've got such a strange variety of music. I listen to Kylie Minogue. But one of my biggest artists growing up was definitely Cypress Hill,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
and I just loved everything about how they represented themselves. I like Rage Against the Machine. I
Yeah.
remember going to see down in I think it was Wembley.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, very very and I've seen them quite a few times since then, Rage Against the Machine. But System of a Down, another one.
Yeah.
They brilliant artists, but
Yeah.
it they are slightly uh I can't think of the word now. The music and the way they present themselves is something which I like Kiss,
Yeah.
the visuals, and but
Yeah. And you take something like Cypress Hill, like 1993 was such an amazing year for music for me, right? Because you
yeah,
got A Tribe Called Quest, Midnight Marauders, Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style,
yeah,
Black Sunday by Cypress Hill, like all the same year. Souls of Mischief, Here to Infinity, like all these amazing hip hop records that actually were incorporating other music that I was into. Like Cypress Hill almost looked like a metal band.
yeah,
And for me, like being a kid that kind of likes metal, kind of like guitar music, kind of like hip hop, it
yeah,
sort of brought it together. That was a really exciting time.
yeah. It's like with like you're saying with Cypress Hill, they were like the first album and all that. Although they were hip hop, they were like a dark version of
Yeah.
it.
Well, there was Black Sabbath samples on that record. Black Sunday's got loads of Black Sabbath samples. It's like it's full on that part of that universe, and they love that music.
And the videos which they did, and I was like, oh my god, this is. And I remember going down to I think it was Hammersmith Odeon, and Cypress Hill were down there,
Yeah,
and I was right at the front, and I mean on the barrier, and I was like, oh my god, this is brilliant, because
yeah,
as you say, you've got Kiss, which is all visual, but you've also got like System of a Down, which is all visual. Yet their presence on stage, like just wearing normal clothes, but they still give out that
It's that
presence.
very, very like visceral attack, like in your face, like
Yeah,
yeah.
brilliant. Right, for myself,
Okay.
the first time I came across Skindred, you were well, I don't know if you were supporting. You were at Commandman in Aberdeen, and you were on the Stuart Cable show,
Oh
and
yeah.
you
Yeah,
had Trivium.
Trivium.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember.
and that was my first thing into Skindred, because I just come back off leave from the army, and my mate said, look, I got some free tickets to go up and see Trivium, because they were doing
An
acoustics.
acoustic. Yeah, I remember. I can remember it clearly, actually.
Yeah,
Was it 2006 or 2005? Something like
it
that.
might 2005, because I was out in Iraq at the time, and I came back on. I was like, and Stuart Cable came out and introduced you and all that, and he was like, "Wow, this is fucking awesome! This is awesome!" And I was like, I thought you said Trivium, Ron." He's going, "Yeah, they are on." I said, "Oh, fucking hell, who's this band? Like, who is it?" Now that was my first introduction into Skindred, and
Oh,
it was good.
oh, that's
Absolutely.
great.
What I liked, what has been your highlight since starting with Skindred up until now? What is the thing which you've gone, yeah, that was absolutely fantastic?
Um, I'll tell you something that I think is fantastic, and obviously, like this year has been a big time of reflection on stuff. So I've had a lot of time to think about our career and like what we're doing, and
Yeah,
where we come from, and what we're doing, and where we want to go, and
yeah,
all that. Still being a band after, officially 21 years. Still
yeah,
being a band, like doing that. That we're still generating new music and being excited by music. Me and Benj, like as soon as I get off this, I'm Skyping Benji, and we're working on music. Like that is a highlight for me. That I'm
yeah,
still excited to write music with Benji. you know, like that's a big thing. I think this time has been really good. Because you're with people for a long time and you take them for granted. I think, and
yeah,
it's been a really good time for me and him specifically to really go, we still like each other and we still want to make music with each other and
yeah,
all of that, because some people don't have that option. So I know it sounds like a weird thing to it, but that's the highlight for me, really, that I still love making music with Benji.
yeah. I like, for myself, I I didn't fall out. I got diagnosed with PTSD and mental illness, and through my time in the military, and I I didn't fall out of love with music, but I became scared of music, if that sounds strange. In the sense of, I was scared to go to concerts, I was scared to be around people.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I I would buy tickets. I would go, yeah, I'm buying the tickets. I'm gonna go and see that. And the closer I would come to the concert, I would be getting
That
anxious,
anxiety, yeah.
and it was destroying me. Now, when I set up the website, and I thought I need to tackle my PTSD different, and I set up the website, and then all of a sudden, um, it was quite strange, because I don't know if you know uh, um, Big Day Productions.
I'm not sure.
Right. Well, he reached out and he said, "Is there anybody on my Facebook which would be interested in doing an interview with the band Heat?"
Right.
Because at the time the website was it was into it. It was all different things. I was like going to Shanecki, taking photographs of bloody superheroes and things like that.
Yeah.
And found a new love of photography. So I said, "Yeah, I'll do an interview, and I'll put it on the website." And that was like somebody reigniting my love of music.
Mm.
And I was like, oh my God. And then I reached out to Magnum and I said, look, is there any chance I could come and photograph your concert? And they said, yeah, no problem. And I went there, and my love of photography got me back in love with music. And I haven't looked back since. And it's like, I can't wait now for the next concert to come about. And
Yeah.
because of all these shitty times at the moment, I'm just like, please hurry up so I can get back to doing what I love doing.
Yeah.
And I
I feel.
went out, bought the guitar again, and that was helping my mental health
Mhm.
because I was focused on that. So yeah, it's music has become my biggest love once again, and I'm like forever grateful. I'm like I was messaging my mate earlier. I was I'm speaking to Dan from Skindred in a minute, and he was like, "Oh wow," and all that, because I've had people come up to me and go like, "Oh, didn't you speak to such and such?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, ain't that great?" Like, there's just
Yeah.
little old me, bloody ex squaddy with no bloody qualifications, talking to people.
That's great. It's great, dude. It's great that you can do that. I know that like I suffer well, I say I suffer. I have suffered in my life with really crippling anxiety. I mean, to the
Yeah,
point where there's been periods in my life where I've not been able to leave the house. You know, I can't be around people. I can't be inside. I can't be outside. I'm just freaking out, you know. So I can completely empathize with your situation. I mean, obviously, didn't serve in the military like you, but
yeah,
Dealt with some PTSD stuff as well, and like coming through the other side. I know that music has always been a thing for me.
yeah,
It's brought me solace. It's brought me comfort. It's brought me so many things. It's meditation. It's so many things. You know,
yeah,
even the practice of music. And I'd say, like in this time, I've been because obviously I can't tour and
yeah,
I'm home and I've got to pay my bills, I've got to do all that stuff. So I'm actually doing a bit of teaching at the music BIM in Bristol. So it's
yeah,
like it's for students studying modern music basically. And one of the most amazing aspects of it is watching these first year students, and they've gone to like high precautions in order they can play together. There's screens, masks, distancing, but it's people that don't know each other going in a room and playing music together, and they're so happy after doing it, and it's absolute, like, it's a delight to see it. Like
yeah,
it's such a delight where people like, and you can see the power of music in that, you know.
yeah. It,
So yeah.
no, it like like for me, when I was in the military, music was my driving force because I would be listening to Wasp, I'd be listening to Megadeth, I'd be listening to Slipknot, and I'd be working myself up, ready to go out on patrol or go in to do house searches or things like that with my dog, and that was the one thing which drove me. But when I left and the PTSD really took over, it was music which suffered for me, and I'm just glad I've got it back.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good place to be.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. A lot of artists have been doing quite a bit of stuff on social media, doing concerts, doing live events on social media. Is that something yourself as a band have thought about doing in the future, or is it something which you have done in the past?
We've certainly talked about it. I mean, good friends of mine, the band Turbo Wolf,
Yeah,
did something which was they called it like a visual experience or something, and it's still online, the Turbo Wolf one, and it's
yeah,
fantastic. Like I watched it live. It's like them playing the songs, but it's really strange and
yeah,
funny. You know, it's like it's really worth checking out.
yeah,
But we haven't done anything. We've spoken about it. At the moment, because geographically, where everybody lives in different places in the country,
yeah,
it's kind of hard to get together. And I think it's like we'd have to pull all our resources to do it,
Yeah,
and then to make it worth it. And I think at the moment for us, um, it's more worth like working on our music in this time, working on new music,
yeah,
and look towards what we do next, really, rather than, because we're still, we're booked. We were meant to be recording our live album this month, at the Roundhouse, but we're going to do that a year from now,
yeah,
pretty much a year from now. And so I think I don't know, we don't want to sort of shortchange people. So I think our time is better spent like working on new music, and
yeah,
and really refining a lot of things. And I mean, it's been really fruitful. Um, I know there's maybe 20 songs in the making, so,
um,
and that's just the beginning. There's another, I think, 15 floating around, so
yeah,
this is the first time since Babylon and Rootstock Riot that we've had so many songs to work with.
yeah,
And that's really exciting to me. That's
yeah.
really exciting.
With over the years, because you've been around for quite some time now.
Tell me about it.
How how much has music and recordings, and how much has the band changed from the beginning to now? Is there been much of a change, I've noticed, or is it
um,
kept the
kind
same?
I think the dynamic always changes. The first record was me, Benji, and two other people.
Yeah,
It wasn't this lineup. And then Roots Rock Riot onwards has been this lineup. But I mean, people get older, and when me and the drummer and the guitar player were all in our 20s,
yeah,
when early 20s when we started, and now we're all 40. So so it's different. It is different. But that's just to be expected, isn't it? And time changes, and people change, and people move on and stuff. So I think coming in, it's important to me that after all this time that we are just in a healthy situation, like, because I think, trying to phrase this right, I don't think like mentally as a band we were in the best situation before, and I
yeah,
think uh, I think it's finally, like I said, the fruit of the labor is, wow, we've got all these, this is health, this is a much better situation, because this was unimaginable 3 years ago, 2 years ago, that we'd have
yeah.
so many songs that were kind of happening, and so yeah, it's good.
No, it's have you found that like record labels have been? Do you think they've been treating you differently from when you first started to now? Do they give you a lot more respect now, or are they still ruthless?
Oh, they're always ruthless. Always been ruthless. But we're in this weird catchment of bands that we released our first album before broadband internet was everywhere.
Yeah,
And then our second album, and it's weird because it's almost like more people know our second album than they know our first album, but it sold a tiny percent of what the first album sold. Um Labels, I mean, there are absolutely outliers in this. So I'm not saying every independent label is like this, because they're not.
yeah,
But for the most part, labels are run by accountants. And all accountants are looking at is numbers. And if those numbers don't add up, see you later. It's
yeah,
like that. I mean, and we're in a funny situation where we're a band. We get bigger every record. We play bigger venues,
yeah,
but we sign pretty much a record deal every album, like a different record deal.
yeah.
So we're sort of in talks now, actually, for quite an exciting situation. So just have to see how that goes. But then
Oh,
we've got some options, so it's really good. We're in, again. It's music is the currency,
yeah,
and I feel like this record is. I don't think people are ready for it. Like, I don't think people are ready for it. I think we've really got currency this time.
yeah. It's quite strange because um because I do all this now. I get record labels which are sending me music and things like that, and I listen to the albums, and I'm forever going, God, that's good. That's good. And I'm just thinking, right, is that because the the artists are just so talented, or is it because of the label is pushing them harder? I'm just forever going, God, that's a great album. Great. Oh my God, that's a great
Well, it's a
album.
lot. It's a lot of factors. It's a lot of factors. You've got all along the line. I mean, you've got like that the artists, and they might be following their vision,
Yeah,
and that's great. And if you have if the ultimate, the apex of this is like you have an artist that's following their vision.
yeah,
You have uh, a producer recording them, and they're elevating what they do,
yeah,
and you have the whole thing is wrapped up by the label that
yeah,
then can promote it and present it in a way that is ultimate.
yeah,
So I mean, it's different artist to artist. It's always different, but I mean, there's a lot that goes into a record. It's like endless. You could have a record that's going out on an indie, and it's three guys playing in a room that was recorded and mixed by one guy, mastered by someone else.
yeah,
They have a label that's run by three people, that's got distribution by somewhere else, and the team could be really small and it could be a huge hit. Or you
yeah,
could have these records where even a lot of metal bands, like popular metal bands, where they have 20 writers on a song, and it's super produced and things. It's all different, and I don't think there's any. When the end result is something you enjoy,
yeah,
I don't think that's a big deal. I don't think that's a big deal because different people have different skill sets, and maybe they're just amazing performers. Like, for instance, Kiss, amazing performers, great
yeah,
songwriters, but they always had people involved. They always had different people involved in different things, and it's just they were presenting those songs in that way. So, um, yeah, I think a lot of the time it is a mixture of things. But
yeah,
if you have that great artist, great producer, great label with a vision supporting it, that's the ultimate combination.
yeah, definitely. Finally, 2021, fingers crossed. What plans are there for Skindred? Are you going to be touring? Um, you talk about a live album. Do you think a new studio album will be out in 2021? Or
Well, I think that we are going to be, well, I know that in come October we're playing some live shows. We've got them booked. So
yeah,
as long as the world is a bit further along the line from where we are now, and live shows are happening, those shows are happening. So for your listeners, for your viewers to check that out, if you go to skindred.net live/live, or go to our Facebook or our Instagram,
yeah,
we've got that book. The Showtime tour has been booked. um I mean, God willing, you'll hear some new music, whether that's a series of singles going into an album, or it's an album with some singles, or whatever. I'm pretty sure you're going to hear some new music from us next year, because that is literally, when I get off the phone from you, what I'm continuing doing right now. Like, we're
brilliant.
working at it. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for this. This has been absolutely
Um,
fantastic.
mate, no
And,
problem, no problem. No.
I can't wait to come and see you guys again very, very soon. And I wish you all the best with everything which is going forward for you, especially in 2021. And I will definitely be seeing you on tour very, very soon.
Awesome. Thanks, man. You take care as well. I know Wales is, you're about to go into lockdown, so good
Yeah.
luck and stay safe, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Take care
Yeah.
now.
Take care. See you, mate. Bye.